Hello, everyone. Greetings. So, good to see you guys this evening. And let's go ahead and do roll call. Of course, my computer would time out at this time. That's not helpful.
You've got everybody's names memorized. She'll be all right.
We got this. All right. Let's go down the list. Aaron Johnson. Okay. Angela Griffin. Okay. Angela Fan. And if I'm saying your name wrong, please forgive me and feel free to correct me. Anu Luthra.
Here.
Ariana Sherlock.
Here.
Bethany Larson.
Here.
Carol Gortzel.
Just say first name, sis. You'll be all right.
All right. Darlene. That's me. Cindy.
Here.
Debbie. Donald.
Here.
Joy.
Oh, both here. Okay.
Donald Felder.
Mm-hmm.
Joy and happiness.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the respect. Correction. Dwayne.
I.
Is that you saying you're here? Amen.
Yes, I'm here. That's me. I'm here.
Eden.
Here.
Present. Gracie.
Here.
Hattie. Helena.
Here.
Jack.
Here.
Jackie.
Here.
Jasmine.
Present.
Jerry.
Present.
Jessica.
I'm here.
Christina. Oh, excuse. Lydia.
Here.
Lisa. Mina.
I'm here.
Marab.
Rob's excused.
Oh, okay. It wasn't on my paper. Okay. let me write
It
that
is
in.
not on your paper. She just messaged me that she didn't think she could
Okay.
make it.
Nicole. Rita. Sean.
Here.
Welcome. Suzette. Yedidia.
Here.
Yolanda. Amen.
Here.
Oh, JK. Okay, great.
Thanks, Charmaine. And just real quick, we need to call the meeting to order officially. We started at 6:05 for the record.
Mhm.
And then Charmaine, you want to recognize any guests?
Sure. We'd like to recognize any guests at this time.
Hi, thank you for having me back. Tia Yarbrough, Policy Lead for Youth Action Plan, King County.
Well, welcome.
Hi, everyone. AJ Foltz, SCA Policy Analyst, here as a guest.
Welcome back. Do we want to open the floor for any comments from the previous meeting? Is there anyone that would like to comment on our last board meeting? Excuse me, any guests? Let me clarify.
Or public comment? Is that where you're?
Thank you. Yep. All right. Don't frown at me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Carrie, do we have a physical location?
No.
Okay. Okay. So if there's no public comment, we are gonna open a public comment again at the end. If anybody who is not a board member would like to make a comment, you'll have another opportunity to do that later as well. So next up on our agenda is a recap of our September meeting. So previously on Children and Youth Advisory Board, we had a wonderful in-person retreat, and I think the highlight for me was the puzzle challenge. So that was that was very fun. I'm really glad that we didn't mean to do this, but we gave time right after for eating, and that allowed for people who really needed to finish their puzzle, they were able to do that. So I'm glad that that everyone was able to do that needed that. And then we moved on to some wonderful, we started our board advocacy training. So more to come on that. That will continue hopefully next meeting, but that was a good start. Appreciated Colleen from FMS Global Strategies. Then we had we highlighted our outgoing chairs and thanked them and gave them some awards for their service. We heard from Tia and Jessica about the youth action plan, and we did a lot of great work giving feedback. And so we'll hear from them some more tonight. And then we finished up with some report outs from our subcommittees, and it was also we had some really good food, and yeah, it was fun down in Tukwila. So that was previously on. So with that being said, can I get a motion to approve the September CYAB retreat minutes?
I move that we approve the retreat minutes from the CYAB. This is Dwayne.
Thank you, Dwayne. Can I get a second?
Yolanda will second.
Thank you. Yolanda, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. And any abstentions, please state your name.
Anu.
Anu abstains.
Stevens. I'm
Helena
sorry, go
abstains.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Helena Stevens, I'm abstaining. I was not present at the retreat.
Thank you. So I got Anu and Helena. Anyone else abstaining? All right. Minutes are approved from September. Thank you. Now we're gonna turn it over to Tia and Jessica for some more youth action plan fun.
Thanks, Ariana.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, we're excited to be back. I know Jessica, this is a space she occupies often, but I am so grateful to have had the chance to partner with you all in the update of the Youth Action Plan. And so we wanted to report out on our process again. Thank you again for all the time and attention you put into the feedback you gave us during the retreat. It was noted, and we definitely appreciated it. And so you all were sent out by Ms. Wade, the summary document. And so again, we wanted to make sure that you were able to see a number of the pieces of feedback that you gave us represented in some of the changes in the actual summary document. And also in the full body document that we'll be sharing in about a week with you, you'll have a chance to also see some of your ideas represented there as well. And so we have a brief presentation for you today. And so we can get started. Jessica, I don't know if you want to say anything to open us up yet.
Yeah, just glad to be here. My consulting hat with the county is on for this portion of the meeting. So Just want to say that. And yeah, you've got a couple more slides, Tia, and then I can do a few.
Great, sounds good. So today, again, we wanted to just to highlight the process that has been underway for at least the last year and a half. Jessica and I have worked together for almost a year now in this process. And so here, this particular slide just details you all, us together, King County, calling for an update of the Youth Action Plan, formally with a letter being written in the spring. The executive assigned CYAB and the Children, Youth, and Young Adult Division, the division that I serve in, to update the Youth Action Plan. And so this just outlines the our timeline. And so again, we took themes, emerging themes in the original Youth Action Plan, and we tested those themes going out in the community, meeting with various groups throughout the county also, with internal convenings, but also convenings across the county as well. And to really look and see, what community was saying, what our systems folks were saying. And we synthesized that feedback, distilled it down into a way that was palatable and that really represented the ideas and the voice of the folks who are going to be most impacted by the Youth Action Plan. We brought this draft to you at the September meeting, the retreat. We wanted to ensure that we closed that feedback loop and had a final check-in with you all. And then we are returning again today to also help to close some of those loops and tie up some loose ends in regards to the overarching principles that we've lifted from the original Youth Action Plan that are still applicable, but we've edited them to reflect the times. And so when you look at dot points 8 and 9, you'll see that we will eventually be in our final phases with you all, with the approval of you all, with the Youth Action Plan and that transmission to council in the winter of 2025. We can go to the next slide. We've made some changes to the updated recommendations for the Youth Action Plan, even since the last time you've seen it. And so you'll see some of those changes represented in the summary document that, again, you were sent. You'll see some changes, especially in headings. And so it was important. I know one particular piece of feedback that I remember primarily was ensuring that equity and social justice was not just its own recommendation, but that it was essentially a preface that was woven throughout the entire document, that every recommendation was centered around equity and social justice. And so that's where you see this highlighted heading here, where it says lead with equity and social justice. Stabilizing families and children is pretty much the same. We also have, I wanted to just state that you'll see here with stabilizing families that are emerging themes. In private, we call it the kitchen sink because it houses so many of the big ideas and important priorities for our communities impacting children and families. So you'll see the emerging themes that are tucked under 2 and stabilizing and strengthening families. And so you see basic needs, maternal wellness and behavioral health and childcare, and increasing parent and family engagement. Stopping the school to prison pipeline continues to be a priority from the last Youth Action Plan is carried over to this particular Youth Action Plan update as well. We can go to the next slide, Jessica. Thank you. And so we have also changed the heading with 4 in your original document. It may have said busting silos, we're stronger together, or we're better together. And so we wanted to refine that title a bit. So you'll see it is strengthening cross-sector collaboration towards collective impact. And that's really to encompass the fact that we want to make sure that, again, we're busting silos, but that it's not just systems, it's community, it's private funding, it's all the ways that we can work together. I'll move a bit more quickly. And then being data informed and being data inclusive. Originally, the title said, get smart about data. And we wanted to represent what that meant to us. And so, that language has kind of shifted over the last decade, being smart, being driven, but being data informed, but also data inclusive, that there's a number of ways to represent data, that it's a whole story that's being told, both quantitative and qualitative data. And then lastly, the Youth Bill of Rights and codify the Youth Bill of Rights. And so again, these are the changes that you'll see represented in the summary doc that you were sent. Thank you so much. Next slide. I'm trying to move through this a little quickly here. All right. I think that's it for my portion. I'll pass the baton to Jessica.
Awesome. Thank you, Tia. So we were trying to figure out with just half an hour what would be most kind of meaty for you all to weigh in on tonight. So you received from Carrie that it says draft 5 summary recommendations. So that is the matrix, the 5 pages about of the header recommendations across the youth action plan. So you all should have that in your email, and that's a PDF. And essentially what we want to share tonight is like, those are the meat of the youth action plan. Those are the things that we need the CYAB to say they recommend. So the youth action plan document is going to be this, 65 page document that we are still synthesizing all the feedback that you all shared. We've gotten feedback from other community partners that we went to in the spring, have now seen the latest recommendations. We've gotten feedback from county staff that are like the experts, the expert area advisors around behavioral health, for instance. So we're still synthesizing and wordsmithing a lot in there. And we know when we're done synthesizing, government relations, who's the team for the executive, will also wordsmith. So what we want to share tonight is what we really are going to need to be voting on in November isn't every word in the whole document, but it's the main recommendations. And really thinking about pending any substantive change, that's what we're going to want to be getting towards. So as we know, CYAB having a month to look at something they're voting on, what we're wanting to really dig into are these recommendations as the core. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions? Thinking about Helena representing the city of Bellevue, I know usually the few folks that have a role representing a different entity. So Helena, Ariana, and Councilmember Sherlock and Councilmember Trout representing SCA, Dwayne representing City of Seattle. So sometimes just having that extra time as well as everyone just to be able to review things. So does that question make sense? And I'm looking at you, Carrie, as well. That what we want to be getting towards is the November vote is really on the core recommendations, not the 70-page document.
I think it's on the core recommendations. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and I was gonna say AJ could probably speak more to this, but I think the SCA Policy Information Council pick, I don't know if I've got that right, AJ, but they're talking about the Youth Action Plan tomorrow night at their meeting. So
We will be there presenting.
Oh, you will? Okay, good. I will be happy to hear how that turns out and what the response is. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Great. So yeah, Tia and I will be joining that committee of the Sound Cities Association, which is the organization that represents all of the cities in King County besides the city of Seattle, and appoints representatives to sit here like Councilmember Sherlock and Councilmember Trout. So having a chance to share with city leadership, city elected officials from across King County, where we are in the process. We're not asking for endorsement, but wanting to have them have a chance to review, look at this and think about where are there opportunities to align across different jurisdictions within King County, as well as to, make sure that we really are representing the full county in these recommendations. Okay, any other kind of questions process-wise? And then what we want to do is actually spend some time with our 3 overarching principles that you all haven't seen yet since we've revised them from the original YAP. But spend a few minutes with those. And Carrie, do we have till 6:45?
I'm sorry. Or
we have till 6:45. Ariana's nodding her head. So so we could stay in a whole group and get some feedback, or is breakout room a possibility if people want a smaller group to talk with?
yeah, I can break people out if you'd like.
Okay, great.
Could I ask a quick question? Jessica,
Yes.
you said that you're bringing this to Sound City Association pick. When are you doing that?
It's tomorrow night,
Mm.
at 7:20, I think, and it's Ariana is uh alternate on that group, so she's going to introduce us.
Okay.
Do you sit on that?
I don't. We have another council member, but I know that we're going to be going to a Sound City Association dinner that should be coming up, and we always have presenters. So I was just curious if you're going to present at that.
Not
Okay.
currently.
All right. Thank you.
And we have the guest link if you want to jump in, Councilmember Trout, tomorrow night.
Send it
Okay.
to me.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to sharing screen here. So in the first youth action plan, there are 3 core principles, and we've tried to update those. And I'm gonna jump through them super fast and then come back and read each one. So the first is center optimal well-being, healing, and joy. This is the most new one. The second one is very similar to an original one, that the well-being of children and families and youth and young adults should not be predicted by their race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, ability, geography, income, or immigration status. So this one really gets at disparities. And then in the original youth action plan, there were 2 principles. One was to center youth voices, and one was to center parent voices. We worked on combining those because it's really about centering those most impacted, naming them as separate voices, young people and parents of young children or young parents. So naming all of that. So those are the 3 big overarching principles. So I'm going to go back to the first one. And does anybody want to volunteer to read this out loud so you don't only hear our voices? Charmaine, I see a hand.
Center optimal well-being, healing, and joy. More than just preventing negative outcomes, we strive for optimal well-being. We believe that all children, youth, and families deserve to be happy, healthy, safe, and thriving, and that the well-being of children and families must always be governmental priority. As we continue to heal from the grief and loss we faced in the pandemic and beyond, making space for healing and joy must be prioritized. Creating and sustaining thriving communities requires not only a fiscal and political investment, but also requires leading with empathy and compassion.
Thank you. Number 2, any volunteers?
I'll go. The well-being of children and families and youth and young adults should not be predicted by their race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, ability, geography, income, or immigration status. Responding to the ongoing data and documented disproportionate outcomes that many King County residents experience, the Children and Youth Advisory Board finds that this principle must guide and inform all policymaking, funding, and service decisions in our county government. The CYAB finds that the county must prioritize eliminating disproportionate outcomes for its citizens.
Thanks, Rita. And the third one. A volunteer.
Overarching principles, number 3, child and youth policy development, services, and programming should intentionally include the people impacted by the policies and services in authentic and meaningful ways. Engaging youth and adults, as well as the parents and caregivers of young children, is a powerful way for King County to move its work forward. The unique experiences and perspectives of youth and young adults make them valuable partners with King County. Parents of young children and also parents who themselves are young and caregivers are also constructive collaborators with King County. Involving their perspective creates and improves services and programs and will in turn improve outcomes. The voices of youth are distinctly different than adult voices and are often overlooked, as are the voices of parents in policy and services development. King County must develop and implement opportunities to involve diverse youth and the diverse voices of youth, as well as the parents and caregivers in decision-making.
Thanks, Helena. So those are our 3 overarching principle drafts. And our questions for you is, do these principles capture the overarching philosophy and approach we believe in as a CYAB, you believe in, with my CYAB hat off? What do you like about the statements? Is anything substantially missing or wrong? There definitely will be some wordsmithing, so it doesn't have to be in the weeds, but those overarching principles, do they get to the core of what we want to be about? And I think that the biggest change is really adding one that's not just about getting to problem free, but fully prepared, fully thriving as defined by those impacted towards well-being. So just open it up for a quick conversation, and then I think we have time to get into breakout rooms for folks to digest and kind of talk these through. Any initial reactions? And feel free to use the chat too.
Dr. Felder?
Joy and happiness, everyone. Here's my question. Well, actually, I want to say that I really like the principle, I think it was number 3, that serves as a guide for creating policy. I think that's just absolutely wonderful. The question I have, will these principles go to the team that's responsible for equity and gives oversight to all departments? You understand what I'm saying? So like there's an equity department within King County. So will these principles go to that department in which they will use to help give guidance to all departments that have responsible for children?
I think that's an excellent question, Dr. Felder. I think you just given us a new charge. I met with public health today, and I know cross departmentally, we're having conversations about alignment and centering youth and young adults and children and community. But I think it would be imperative that we do share this out in a way that they not only see the youth action plan, but that we're able to tease out overarching principles to share with everyone widely across the county as a whole, especially those who are making policy regarding children, youth, and family. So I will say yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tia. Other questions or comments?
Were there the overarching principles in the meeting?
No.
Okay. Is there a way to get them pasted in the chat? I'm just more of a visual person, so I really like to work with the text and look at it. Thank you.
They'll be a little bit long in the chat, but that's a great idea.
Thank you.
I'll stop sharing and put them in the chat. I think so everybody can kind of have a chance to get a little bit of their voice in the space, which is always hard with the full group. Carrie, if we could bump into breakout rooms of 3 or 4, for 5 or 6.
6, yes, I think.
Okay. For about 8 minutes. Less.
All right, we did it for 8 minutes. You ready?
Hold on, let me get the last one in.
I had a question
Okay.
about the joy piece.
Yes.
I do believe that resilient, aka marginalized communities should experience joy. That's very much. I just want to know why that was chosen specifically. Just for context, I'm not against it. I'm curious. And how is it not like spiritual bypassing, which is white dominant culture, white supremacist culture. So I just wanted to make sure we're checking for white supremacy culture in these as well.
Thank you, Rita. One of the reasons why it was important that we prioritize joy and that it was stated in one of the overarching principles is that there's a lot of focus on repair and restoration downstream. But when we think about prioritizing the joy of Black and Brown folks, often those who are marginalized, communities that are marginalized, which is LGBTQ communities, lots of communities are often marginalized and their joy is not prioritized. We're often a lot of the language is about fixing and repairing and restoring, but that being able to center the joy and happiness of folks of all communities is really important. And so we've had lots of conversations in our process about how do we bring that into the space, that it's not just about having a fiscal investment, a political investment, but that there's an investment in the well-being and the wholeness and health of communities as a whole. And joy is a part of that, being able to experience joy. And so I don't think we were looking at it as like a faith-based perspective, but more about the happiness and the experience of contentment that everyone should experience, irrespective of where they come from. And so I hope that answers your question. It's a bigger answer, but we've been workshopping it for a while and agree that it should definitely make the formal document.
Thank you for that context, Ms. Tia. That's very helpful. And then I guess the other question that I thought of when I was looking at this, we tend to pathologize and want to heal the individual. And so I think I haven't looked at these because I'm a visual person, so I need to look at them. But so it talks about individuals and caregivers or parents, but I think I'm missing, and within our communities of color, in our marginalized or resilient communities, there's so much about resilience that's connected to relationality. And so I think that's a sentiment that I'm not seeing, but I can look more closely. And that is connected to joy, right? Connectivity and the human experience. So I think I'm just, wondering about that. But you don't have to answer that. We can go into our groups. Sorry to sidetrack us.
Thank you, Rita. Gary, your hand.
Oh, I was gonna say I love Rita's comment. It was like so um uh uh inspiring to think about like that we really use a deficit-based system for non-me people, like, right, like you can just get to here and that's where you end, right? We have a problem, we fix it, versus switching it to an asset-based system where we're really looking to just continue to rise as far as the eye can see, right? Joy is a wonderful exploration of that, and I think that should be integral to every piece, because it's not about just solving the problem. It's about creating just structures so that people thrive in whatever way makes sense to them and their culture. That's awesome.
Thank you, Jerry. I think the last thing I'll say in relationship to that before we break out groups, one of the most impactful things that Sheila, my director, said when I onboarded was that no one says, oh, I hope my child doesn't go to prison when they have a baby. They're planning for the best, the health and wellness, the greatness of this life of this child. So we should, like what you're sharing, is that we're not looking at it from a deficit model, like how can we fix and repair? No, what can we do to ensure that community and families and young people thrive from the onset of life, at the beginning of life, that we do everything to prepare for the goodness of this experience for this person, not trying to plan to prevent always, but saying, what would it look like if we did everything possible to make sure that this child had everything they needed to thrive? This community had everything it needed to thrive, not just thinking about how can we prevent so that they don't find themselves in systems that would deter them from greatness. And so that's my soapbox. We can go to we can go into breakout rooms now. I just wanted to add to that.
So given that we took out almost all the breakout room time, do you guys, how many minutes do you want to do? Should we cut into, so I'm gonna let the co-chairs decide, cut into subcommittees, or what do you want to do? I'm thinking.
Do people, are people really wanting to go into breakout rooms? I feel like people are sharing well in the big group, but we can definitely cut into a little bit of the subcommittee share out time if people really want to have a small group setting.
There are people who aren't going to speak in the big group, Ariana. So
okay, so let's do it for 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Is that going to be enough? Okay.
Plenty of time to totally digest all of those principles and give all the feedback you possibly wanted to give, right? Thank you for taking the little bit of time there, and would love if we have a couple minutes just to have folks put in the chat a high level gist of your conversation, anything you really want to elevate as that you love about the principles, or anything that's like, this really needs to change. So maybe we take a couple of comments, and then as much in the chat as folks are willing to share would be fantastic.
I was just gonna say the chat is gonna be our friend.
Yes.
But I will leave maybe you know, two high level comments if people want to give them.
Thanks for that direction, Charmaine. Anybody that we haven't heard from yet tonight want to share their vibe?
I'm gonna call Debbie out from my group.
I knew you were gonna, Charmaine. I knew you were. I was already unmuting. Two things I'll say very, very quickly so somebody still has a turn. Where's the equity statement? I really appreciate calling out the CYAB fines. I really think we need to strengthen that and include the equity statement in that first principle. And I also feel like this is very, 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 very wordy. And the higher, it could be much more direct. Charmaine, if I miss anything, please speak up.
What is this magic that's on the screen right now?
Something I created for my group so that they could see all the principles in the questions.
Dang, that's some high level speed online remote work.
It just made it easy for us to stay on task. But anywho, yeah, just overall, we wanted to be more bold and more declarations. So we wanted more declaring. Our thing is like some of the words are very nice, but if we're demanding, we expect, we are requiring, we are, etc. In some of these words. Anybody else? I don't want to take over the space. From a different group, not our group. Feel free.
Just to answer Debbie, your direct question there on where is the equity statement. Charmaine, do you mind if I take over the screen?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Well, let me stop.
So
let me stop. There you go. Yep.
What can you see?
The CYAB equity statement.
Okay. So it is right above.
Thank you.
The three principles. So it is there. And I mean, I think the whole question of like, is that actually just the principle? Is the equity statement, skip the principles. It just is the equity statement is the principle. But felt like it needed a little bit more pulling out. So anyways, it is in here. So the CYAB equity statement, and then followed by the three principles.
We liked the principles, at least from our group, because we said it did not give any wiggle room for others' interpretation. It kind of gave like, this is the clear definition in which we are intending to do. So that was at least from my group. It didn't sound like anyone else. I tried to leave room for other people. So what we're going to do is move on. But please email Tia and Jessica. And if you could post your slide one more time that had your emails, that would make my day. And then we're going to go ahead and because these were great talks. And also keep going live in the comments, please, because you forget this is fresh. They're reading them. So please let's continue to say what top 3 things we came up in our comments. That would be great.
Yeah. And can we just real quick, Tia and Jessica, what are the next steps? I know you guys are coming back next month. So
We are.
yeah, what do you want just to end this topic, just a quick next steps?
So we'll be back in November, and we want to make sure that you all know that you'll be voting on not the entire 70-page document, but on the recommendations themselves. And so again, we'll take your feedback, and the feedback we're continuing to synthesize and distill down. And you'll see that integrated throughout the document. You will get to see the entire document, but what you will vote on is the actual summary document that is in your emails now, but we'll probably change slightly a bit more until you see it again. Thank you for having us again.
Thanks for joining, Tia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tia.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So in my roll call, I was very remiss as I left out our newest board member. So we definitely want to give Sean Armour, forgive me, a very thank you and welcome for joining the CYAB board. So if everyone can give him some shout outs in the comments, we're excited to start this journey with you, and let's work together. And yeah, if you want to say a couple of words just to let us know who you are and where you work and what made you want to come to the CYAB board.
Sure, thank you.
Sean, you're gonna have to do it next month too, so it's up to you, bro.
Oh, okay. So I'll be brief then here. I'll just give you the cliff notes here. Sean Armour, originally from St. Louis, been here about 21 years now. Been passionate about youth, standing in the gap for our youth in the community. Very active in our community, bringing those disparities to light. And so I'm happy to be part of this board. I've been kind of tagging along for some of the new meetings as we were kind of waiting for the appointment. So I've got bits and pieces. I'm enough to be dangerous. So I may comment, but then I may sound very silly because I don't know what I'm talking about yet. But I'm going to get there. So I just ask for your grace and thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Welcome. We do have some new board members. We're really excited. So just like Sean, we will have a few more people that will be excited next month to join the committee. And so we're really excited to have them. Carrie's listed the names in the chat for those. But yes, welcome. So that is definitely something I remiss. At this time, we would like to do our second public comment. So if you were in a breakout room and you had something exciting that you wanted to share or something that you felt like, you wanted to chat about, please do so at this time. Or if you had any questions about our minutes. I'm kidding. So, okay. And then in that case, we are going to go ahead and do our subcommittee report outs and discussion. And we will start with, who do I want to put on blast first? I'm just kidding. We'll start with the young leaders.
Okay, hi everybody. We had an exciting weekend last weekend and we had our little coffee chat. It was super nice to see those of you that could make it. We had fun. We played Uno. We got to know each other a little bit. We took some really strange AI photos. It was pretty cool. And for those of you who weren't able to make it, I'm hoping we can do another one maybe in the spring or something. We'd love to get to know you all more. So that was really fun. And then also on the back end of things, we're preparing still to go share around to youth commissions, let them know about the Youth Bill of Rights and about what it might look like to have a youth commission in King County and get feedback from them. So we're going to start meeting with them next month. So we'll have a few under our belt when we see you next. Oh, Is Carrie showing the photos? Oh gosh.
Don't wait for me. Y'all keep going.
All right, I think that's all we had. So unless Eden has anything else.
No, I think that's it.
Okay, these are amazing.
Yeah, these are great. Did Carrie do these? Ooh. Mhm. Well, thank you for sharing those. Those were awesome. Look like you guys had a good time. Yes. At this time, we'll be asking for the Youth Justice Committee subcommittee from Jerry and Lisa.
Hey, everybody. We met last month. We're due for another meeting coming up. We're still getting our monthly cadence. We really focused on reestablishing the structures. That meeting, it sounds like, or that group had had a great deal of turnover. And so we are kind of reorienting ourselves to the work, creating some charter bullet points that we can follow in terms of leadership and participation, and really setting some expectations and goals so that we're all on the same page. And it's hard. You guys know we're just ridiculous amounts of everything. And then, a month goes by and you're like, what was I supposed to do? So we're trying to put into place some action item documents so that we can all refer to them and just be capable of keeping each other accountable. And then, and so, yeah, that's kind of where we ended. We're putting together new vision and kind of mission statement for that group so that we have a trajectory that we know we can follow and some principles to guide the actual work. And then we'll start generating those action items based on all the wonderful stuff that we collect from all of you in terms of next steps. So yeah, we're excited.
Thank you for sharing. What I didn't realize is, do I leave room for people to ask the different subcommittees questions in between, or do we just keep going?
Keep going.
Okay, JK. Pasta, Dwayne and Jackie.
Hi, everyone. I think Dwayne had to jump off the call, but I think he also wasn't able to attend the meeting last month. We met on September 16th, and the group received a update on love and liberation. And we had Joy Sebe from United Way of King County, Angela Dosano from ACRS, and Hazel Cameron from the 4C Coalition do an update and presentation for us. And then we also got to look at a very high level at the 2023 evaluation of this investment. So we got highlights from the DCHS's report, and we just had an opportunity to ask questions and just kind of get some understanding about the investment and how it was going. And then we turned over the rest of our time to take another deep dive in the CYAB update, areas 2 and 6. And Jessica was joining us, but took off her hat to be a consultant to just help us with some of that final feedback we had for those investment areas. And so after that, we wrapped it up and look forward to our meeting in November. Sorry, there's one more thing we wanted. We also, there's a shoreline housing pilot that started, and so we were just given a short update on that as well. That's it.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Next, we have care and closure with Dr. Felder and Jasmine.
I will defer to Dr. Felder.
Why would you defer to me?
I don't have anything to report back.
But I will share. I will share. Let's see. The last meeting, we spoke of the issue that was associated with the council's vote to keep the center open, and particularly for those children that they consider the most dangerous. And I would assume those would be the murderers, those who commit assault, etc. And I'm not sure if, as a committee, if that stood really well with most of us. And so our goal is to continue to develop two primary recommendations that are associated with how do we create a means to reduce the number of children inside the detention facility. And we have had 3 presentations from departments in I believe that was Louisiana, and I believe one in California. I think it was California. Could have been another place. But each one had flaws, particularly in addressing the issues that the council continues to raise in regards to what do we do with children who may be out of control. Our next meeting is, I think, the last week of October. And at that time, we will refine the recommendations based on the input from 2 or 3 small groups. The ideal is to refine the work, but the area where there's probably the most difficulty probably has to do with funding. I'm not sure if there's a plan to fund any of the recommendations, but that's not our job to figure it out. Our job is purely to submit recommendations by which policymakers and other folks who make decisions figure out how we create plans to reduce the number of children or young people or youth inside that detention facility. And that would be my report.
Thank you, thank you. Finally, we have community engagement with Mina and Anu.
Mina, you're on mute. Mina, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, no, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm on an earphone. Oh, thank you, Anu. We met yesterday on Zoom and we discussed 3 points which were selected from the previous meeting. And it's on social media how you were thinking of interviewing or talking about one of our buddies. And we chose Carol and we asked her the question, why CYAB? And Kerry had a small video with her answer. And a couple of other points we discussed were subcommittees role, meaning how do we bring out subcommittees work into social media. And we're also thinking how to connect with each and every one of the members of CYAB into some platform, some social media platform, which can be mutually agreed to present our work.
And Meena, correct me if I'm wrong. We had decided that we had discussed it as far as having one platform, but we had decided that everyone should have a choice of what platform they want to use. So it's not going to be one that we're not going to dictate it by one platform. It's whatever people are comfortable using as far as their social media choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else? Over to Anu.
No, I think that was it. We had, yeah, I think that was really it. We decided we were going to try it within our committee for the video. So thank you, Carrie, for recording Carol before we propose it and ask the rest of the board to see who wants to be in the video answering the question, why did you choose to serve on the King County Children and Youth Advisory Board? And then next meeting, we are thinking of bringing, Carrie, was it Warren, over for what are the do's and don'ts of social media? Meaning if, for example, if I post something, I cannot tag several of you because then it becomes, it's basically meeting at that point if we start discussing things. And also, even if I don't tag you, board members commenting and saying something, does that turn into a public meeting? Or a meeting that is within the board. So those things I think we need education on, and that's what we talked about as well. So that's the plan, to get someone in next meeting to get a better understanding of that.
Great. Thank you. That segues us into our next topic, which is bringing in Stacy Nguyen to help us with some social media training. I just do want to really quickly say that we want to give Stacy the full hour to help us with this. So we at this point are a little bit behind. So please put in your mind that we're going to be here probably closer to 8:30. So, but we've got some good stuff. And so Stacy, please take it away.
Hello, everybody. I feel bad about making you stay here until 8:30. So maybe, okay, you all shaking my, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Okay. Hi. So great to meet you. I am here to do a little like high level, like kind of like 101 level training. So there may be some folks here that are just like social media power users that this might be like, you know, a little bit of a primer for you. And then there might be folks that maybe learn a few things. So let's hopefully, you know, get a little bit of both. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Oh, there's a poll from Carrie already, though. Feel free to answer them.
That was an accident.
Okay, take it away. Don't answer them.
I'm sorry, it's on. People are already answering it. I'm
it's
sorry.
Too late. Okay, that's cool.
Tech accident.
All right, can y'all see my screen? All right, beautiful. So the title of today's training is called How to Be a $1 Billion Influencer. Don't hold me to that if you don't make $1 billion, but you know, the sentiment is there. It's how can we do this like really, really well and have a lot of fun? Cool. Awesome. And then I'm going to try to keep the chat open so I can like, you know, be paying attention to this discussion that may be happening. And actually, if someone can help me with that, because I'm already lost. I can't find the chat box. You know what? Maybe I won't keep the chat open. We got to move on. All rightio. So a little bit about me. I'm a designer and visual artist. I own my own company. In a past life, I was a journalist at Northwest Asian Weekly, so super hyper local, very embedded in like the AAPI community here in Seattle. I own and run Stacy Nguyen Creative, where I do, you know, stuff like this with you all. I'm a huge fan of social media. I use it all the time. And I think even though, it can be kind of like a source of like ickiness for folks, I think that social media has great capacity for doing good and for connection and for community building. And then I think the last thing that you need to know about me in terms of like this training is I'm really into plants and to a lesser extent dogs, but still really like dogs. All right. So, and then here you can see like you can get a glimpse of my social media. So this is my Instagram. That's what I am on the most, and you can see like kind of the vibe. Okay, so just so we know, in this training, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about social media and how it can be used to connect and like share stories about ourselves, and like also, of course, CYAB. We're gonna go over different social media channels, not all of them because they're like lots, but we're gonna go over like the bigger ones and talk about like what they're about and like how they're different from one another. We're gonna talk about the 4 C's, and I won't tell you what they are yet, so we'll have to wait till you get to that point, and what makes a post interesting. And then, well, spoiler, a post is good when it has the 4 C's. And then toward the end of our time together, we're gonna have a fun little competition because Carrie told me y'all like to compete. And so you're all gonna get split up into different teams and then try your hand at writing like the best social media caption. And then we're all gonna vote and see like, we're gonna unanimously decide who is the best at this. And then at the very, very end, we're gonna have a little question and answer session so we can spend some time. If you have like any follow-ups or anything that you want to discuss a little bit more, we can have that at the very end. Cool? Awesome. Thank you for the thumbs up. That helps. Okay, quick poll. Okay, now we can fill out the poll. But I guess you already have done it. The first question, I just wanted to kind of get a temperature check here. How comfortable are we using social media? And the options are very comfortable, somewhat comfortable, not super comfortable, not comfortable at all. Are we able to see the results already, Carrie? Have everyone filled out this poll?
Only about half the people have filled out the poll. There's 10 people that haven't.
Okay.
So those could be people that are here in a staff capacity, like myself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So there's probably like 5 people that haven't answered it.
Okay, so we
So
give
I
them.
can end.
Okay.
I really messed up. I put them both together, and I think if I end it, it ends both of them.
That's okay. That's okay. I forgive you.
Thank you. Appreciate the grace. I messed up. And the second one, 15 out of 17 people. Wait, answered. Okay.
Okay.
We can end when you're ready.
Okay. Well, we can end whenever. I'm ready now.
Okay.
See where we're at.
Results.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so what I'm seeing, okay, you can probably see the results of the poll on my screen too, along with your screen. But what we're seeing is most folks are very comfortable. Like, well, half. So half of the folks are very comfortable. They're posting, commenting, direct messaging, doing all the things. And then another huge chunk of folks, almost 40%, are somewhat comfortable. And they're just kind of like on it to stay in touch and kind of probably to lurk on the people in their lives. And then just a like smaller minority are not super comfortable and not comfortable at all. So that sounds really, really awesome. It sounds like all of y'all are just like very, very aware of social media, are like using it robustly and are communicating a lot on it. And so that is, that's awesome. What social media platform do you like the most?
Oh,
Carrie. Okay, that's cool. You know what? You're right. I am skipping ahead. I'm skipping ahead because it's in front of my face.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
take it away. Take it away later, and then we'll bring it back up later. Okay, cool. So, because everyone is like pretty much a power user of social media, this is probably gonna be old hat for you. But so I prepared this presentation as if we're just kind of coming into it like just like little babies. So what is social media? Sometimes we often, when we think of social media, we think about it this, like it's an influencer and it's makeup tutorials and it's like a lot of like selfies. Or we think of social media as like just a fight on Facebook between your aunt and like, your cousin about something political. So a lot of times we kind of think about social media, we think about like the more negative aspects of social media. But kind of like what I think that social media can be and what it often is. Oh wait, I'm skipping ahead. So social media doesn't have to be the icky things. It doesn't have to be about selling something or appearing perfect or feeling inauthentic, super like glitzy and like, just like you're living like your really influencer life. It doesn't have to be like that. And it also doesn't have to be a waste of time. Social media can very much be about connecting with folks, especially folks that are not like in your space at the moment, whether they are physically, geographically far away, or whether you just haven't gotten a chance to reconnect with everybody in your network. Social media can be like a great tool to kind of stay in correspondence with people. Social media can be about community and relationship building, especially like finding folks that have similar interests, similar passions, similar values that you might not know, but might just be in kind of like shared online spaces, whether you're sharing the similar account or you're in some sort of like group together. So social media can kind of strengthen those bonds. And then social media is like very much a place where you can be authentic and real and like just feel free to be vulnerable and share about yourself if that's kind of like what you want, how you use it. And social media can just be about just giving updates about your life and the interesting things that you happen to find amusing. So sometimes social media is like cat memes, So here's some examples. I know that the text is very small on this, so I'll just kind of give you the gist and read it. But here are like some examples from local organizations / people here in Seattle that are using social media like well, and that really reflect like kind of what we want to do and orient when we kind of create like, very compelling community-oriented posts. So here's a post on top where my mouse is like flipping around from Friends of Little Saigon. And they just shared like a series of beautiful pictures from a community gathering, which is like a very, very common sight that we see in all around, the city. And then their caption is like, last Saturday, us and an organization and 25 community members got together, and then we held rich discussions about this project that we're really, really happy and passionate about. And here's some more details on this little project. And so thank you for everybody for coming. And then to learn more, go here. So that's basically like what this post tells a full story. It tells like what is happening, why it's important, and then what people can do. If we, like me, you are seeing this and we want to get involved, like there is like an action to do that. And so this post ended up getting, a lot of likes. It ended up getting like almost 100 likes. And it's very much community focused and very mission oriented. So that's a great post. And so the bottom post here is from Dr. Anu. Dr. Anu is a professor at the University of Washington. And so I wanted to share a post that is by a single person. And her post is like often sharing her work and sharing what she cares about, which is like traveling abroad in a way that's equitable and justice centered. But she doesn't always necessarily say that so directly. So this post is just about her like being like, hey, this is my face on a big screen and it's really, really big. And no one tells you that your face is so big when you see it in this context. By the way, I was interviewed for this film and it's about this, it's called The Last Tourist, and it's something that I really, really care about and am passionate about. Here are the folks involved, and it's on Hulu and Amazon Prime. Go check it out. So she also kind of like leads in with a little hook, and then she talks about the film itself, and then she tells us how we can get involved and how we can connect. And so this is also a very compelling post. There are a lot of people just being like, yay, good job, Dr. Anu. So social media can also be like beautiful and awesome like this. Okay, we're ready for the results of quick poll number 2. Which platform do we use the most? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, WhatsApp maybe? X/Twitter, other. Okay, so it looks like number 1, again, with the just straight down the middle, half of us are using Instagram, and then a third of us are using Facebook. And I'm sure it's like also like an yes and kind of thing, like we're using multiple things. TikTok 6%, LinkedIn 13%, WhatsApp other is 0%, but I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure many folks are using WhatsApp, but maybe you just didn't want to admit it to everybody. And that's I understand, that's okay. And then also Twitter, 0 users. I also understand that because of Elon Musk. So that's fine. Okay, so Instagram, Facebook, that's great. That's actually what I was anticipating, and also they're the two most popular platform. And so we'll kind of orient our discussion around them. Oh, so now that we've taken the poll, which is the best platform do you think for sharing kind of like, use it, but not the most? Thanks, Bethany. Okay. So which do you think is the best platform? And you can feel free to share in the chat what you think would be the best platform for like sharing CYAB's work. And give us like a few seconds. I'm just waiting for one response in the chat. Okay. Rita, it's complicated because Meta, among others, is proven to have products that are harmful for youth. Instagram says Carrie. And then Rita says this is a complicated issue, LOL. Donald, Facebook. Mina, Facebook. Facebook. Okay. All right. I'm sorry to do this to y'all, but it was a sort of a trick question. Okay. So the best platform for sharing CYAB is really the one that you're using and enjoying and having the most fun with, you know? So it's the one that you're on the most. So I think like one takeaway that I want you to have from this like training is that you do not need to get on another platform. You do not need to, if you're a Facebook person, you don't need to go on TikTok and figure out what TikTok is. That's really, really daunting. If you're a Facebook person, stay on Facebook and keep doing your Facebook things. So that's basically it. We want to, you know, make this not an onerous experience, but one that is like uplifting and joyful and really, really fun and connecting. So that's, and this is where you are already at, where you already have friends and where you already have a network. Okay, so here's an overview of the social media channels. I'm gonna go through this really, really quick, and probably after the meeting, I probably can share the slides so you can go deeper dive if you want. So social media, Facebook is like one of the biggest social media channels because, as Rita mentioned, is owned by it's owned by Meta. And so most of its users are between the ages of 25, 54. At the current moment, they're kind of getting older compared to the other platforms that have been mentioned. It has 3 billion users, so there's a lot of users. Meta also owns Instagram, by the way. It's a good platform for news and updates and for sharing, link sharing, like articles and stuff, and then also having conversations through threaded like comments underneath like posts, and also through like Messenger and Facebook groups. It's just a really wide ecosystem. So that's the pro of it. It's very like rich. You can find a lot of people. The con of it is that it's so broad that sometimes it's hard for you to find your people, you know. A lot of times like you have like a lot of diversity in who you're connecting with, so you're also connecting with your maybe relatives who may not be as interested in like work that you're doing versus like close friends and network like professional connections that are very interested in the work you're doing. So that's kind of like the challenge of Facebook. One fun thing about Facebook and Instagram, which we'll get to next, is that it has like the story function where you can kind of share moments to moments of your life, and then the story like disappears after 24 hours. So it's like a low pressure way to also share in addition to like posts and stuff. Over time, Facebook users are decreasing, but it's not going to go away anytime soon, but it is like an aging platform. So that's Facebook in a little jiffy. Instagram. Okay, so 50% of y'all are using Instagram or more probably. And so you know what it's about. It's basically like a little bit, the audience is a little bit younger than Facebook, is very much about photos, and lately very much about videos, like short form videos. And because that is so image oriented, it's harder to do stuff like linking and like, you know, like anything that's really long. You have to find ways if you want to kind of share and make people go to links. Instagram is popular for businesses, especially small businesses that market to direct to consumers. It's also a good place to find like to niche down a little bit and find like your audience. But Instagram forces you to kind of like be a little bit narrow in how you present yourself because it's not as broad of a platform as Facebook. Over time, it is a very popular platform. Over time, users are increasing. So yeah, that's Instagram in a nutshell. We already know about it. TikTok. Okay, so not a lot of folks are using TikTok. That's totally cool. TikTok is a hard platform to use, so we won't go over it too much. Usually, if you're on TikTok and you're posting TikTok videos, you probably don't need this training. You already are like an expert and you know what's going on. But the thing about TikTok is it's just like Instagram Reels, and it's purely Instagram Reels, where it's just short form videos. They have a high degree of creativity and entertainment. So there's like a high bar to clear to get really popular on TikTok. You have to be like really, really funny. It has a younger audience. Usually the majority of them are 30 years and under, and it's owned by a Chinese internet company. Basically, spoiler alert, all of these social media platforms are owned by evil companies. So and TikTok, its user base is increasing. It's a very fun channel to be on, but probably very challenging to share CYAB's work if you don't already have like a following baked in. Okay, Jessica just asked, I'd love to learn more about how or why to do stories or reels. I tend to use both Facebook and Instagram like scrapbook more than anything else. Okay, Jessica, let's put a pin in that, and then maybe we'll address that like a little bit later on. Is that cool? That's cool. Okay, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, okay, so not a lot of folks, I mean, not a majority of folks said that they use LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is actually a very powerful platform. I think it would be good for CYAB stuff. It is a social networking site. It's basically, it kind of feels like Facebook for the business professional folks, like community, but like that's a stereotype, you know, that is like, you know, just professional. You have to be like, you know, super serious and all that stuff. LinkedIn has like lately evolved into something that is like a very much an intimate space for you to be really vulnerable, really personal, if you want to be. You don't have to be, but it like feels like very, very like you can be real there. You can be authentic there. You don't have to like all just put on a suit and tie all day, right? So I think like, and then the great thing about LinkedIn is that it's very appropriate there to share professional and personal accomplishments / updates. So your audience that would be interested in CYAB stuff is already baked in there. So if you haven't been on LinkedIn lately and you just, you know, it's not just for job hunting. If you haven't been on LinkedIn lately, just kind of give it a whirl. Oh, Ariana said that her husband is not on social media, but she sees him scrolling on LinkedIn all the time. LOL. That's funny. He is on social media. LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. Yes. And then X. Okay. None of us are using X and we all know why. So I'm gonna skip this. Okay, and then others. So I just wanted to, there's also WhatsApp, there's Snapchat, there's all like, you know, there's all a bunch of like Twitch, there's a bunch of other channels. And I just, the point here is that wherever you are, you can connect with people, and wherever you can passively post something, you can totally like share CYAB stuff. It could be on WhatsApp, you know, because they have like that post functionality now and like updates. It can also be like on like old school texts, like SMS texts, where if you have a big thread with a bunch of your friends, you know, every now and then, besides like, hey, can you check out my cute outfit? You could be like, check out my cute outfit at this CYAB event, you know, you could just slip that in there. If you're also like doing like newsletters or Substack, email digest, or if you're just doing anything like group oriented, just like kind of think about, you know, ways that you can also share in that way. And then Pinterest. Yeah, Debbie. Okay, the algorithm. Okay, so I just want to briefly touch on the algorithm. The algorithm, we all know, is just a set of data that each social media channel, like Facebook, Instagram, etc., determines how to rank content. And if they rank it high, your content gets seen a lot. And then, you know, when people make content that is seen a lot, that's what going viral is. And then when the content is rated a little bit lower or a lot lower, then not a lot of people see it. And that's why you kind of sometimes see like some stuff with like 2 likes on it. And so that's kind of the mechanism behind like how content gets shown. So that's the algorithm. But in general, I don't want you to worry about it. Don't chase the algorithm. Like, it's just important to have fun, because this trying to make content that is like quote unquote would go viral is just very stressful. So just have fun and get creative and play around and just be open to like making mistakes even. And the thing that, you know, we'll naturally talk about today, like the 4 C's, will naturally feed the algorithm anyway. We just kind of won't necessarily go deep into the weeds with it. Cool. Okay, here we go. The 4 C's. To do well on any platform, you'll need, and this is TM Carrie. Carrie actually came up with this. I can't lay claim to this, and this is totally on point. 4 C's. Number 1 is content. So you need like good, solid, substantial content. And that doesn't mean that it has to be super duper long. It could totally be like a short, like 1 sentence bit of thing, but it just has to be like strong content. It can't just be like, you know, like a dangling phrase or sentence. It can't be like my dinner, you know. You just have to say like, you know, I went to this and I ate this and it was great, but I don't like this. Like, you know, something substantial for like and meaty for something for people to latch on to emotionally, mentally, and psychologically. And the next C is consistency. It's very important. The social media channels want the fact of it, the social media channels want you to stay on for a long time. So they'll reward you if you churn out things that make people kind of like look and stay on their platform. So that's why consistency is important. When you're posting just like once every 3 months and then you drop off and then you post again, like Instagram doesn't trust you. Instagram's like, I'm not gonna like promote Carrie's content because who knows when Carrie's gonna come back again. But if Carrie is posting like once a week consistently and Instagram knows that, oh, Carrie's gonna post once a week, then Instagram will be like, okay, I trust you, Carrie. I'm gonna show your post to your friends now. And so that's why consistency is important. And also consistency just gets us in the mode of thinking about it and posting it and like sharing and like connecting and just letting people know what we're up to. For third C is creativity. So, you know, we all have seen, you know, social media done by an organization or a company that is just kind of like just painting by the numbers. And it's just kind of like, okay, so here's a beautiful picture of a tablescape by our table runner. Here's a beautiful picture of you know, a plate by our plate. And then it kind of gets stale. And like, you're like, oh, that feels like cold and like not real. And it feels like so corporate. So we want to just try to, you know, fight against that. So don't is like, so there's no formula. So sometimes it's like very tempting to kind of, you know, like sink into a formula, but there's no formula. So creativity means like taking risks, taking chances, doing something like little odd and seeing how people respond to it. And then just being yourself. If you're a person that is a little odd or likes to like share memes, like be that person, you know, just be the person in real life, be the person you are in real life on social media. So that's what we mean by creativity. And then connectivity means that, you know, when we communicate, just like in real life, it doesn't just go one way. I mean, you know, when you talk to people, they talk back and then you have a conversation and then you're like, hey, let's go hang out. Let's grab dinner. That's kind of like, we want to do that too in the virtual space. So sometimes, you know, people will connect with your image or your post or something that you're sharing, like have a conversation with them. It's like, oh, thank you. Thank them. Maybe further the conversation and then return the favor too. When you see something interesting, like don't keep it to yourself. Let people know that you also liked what they're up to and what they're doing and you're interested. Okay. So here's a little example of like 2 of my posts. So, because I didn't feel comfortable calling out anybody, but here's like a not so great post and a much better post. And so you can see how the 4 C's are exemplified. The not so great post is just a doodle I did. And all I wrote is a sheep in wolf's clothing. And then I ended it. And then that was it. And then one of my friends said, interesting. I didn't even respond to her. I was like, okay. And then I just, you know, went on with my day. So that was bad. I didn't follow the 4 C's there. And I got only 37 likes. It's not real. And then, yeah. But here on the right side, much better post is I like took a photo and it's like, you know, it's not curated. I mean, it's like a pretty photo. It's not curated. I was just like, okay, I'm just in the moment. I'm just going to share this. And then I wrote a caption in a rush. And I did this right before I was going camping. So at the end of my caption, I was like, okay, I'm too lazy to share the link that I need to share with you, but trust me, it exists, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye. And so it was like very, very felt authentic because that's how my personality is. And so this one, for whatever reason, because I was like a hot mess that day, I ended up getting like a fair bit of comments and I got like 184 likes on this one. So sometimes like what you're expecting is not what you're actually gonna get in terms of response. Yeah, but this one is like is authentic. It has an obvious request, which is like follow the link that is gonna be really hard for you to find. And it connects to audience and community because this is like centered around like mid autumn. So it's very much like about the seasonality and about like, you know, Southeast Asian culture. So I think that's why people liked it. Okay, I'm gonna take a pause here because I feel like I've been talking a lot. I'm gonna scroll back up to maybe Jessica's question now. Before we talk about Carrie's post. So Jessica's question is, I love to learn more about how or why to do stories or reels. I tend to use both Facebook and Instagram like a scrapbook more than anything else. Okay, Jessica, would you like to like expand a little bit on this question? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
They just stress me out. Like I know how to put like 4 or 5 pictures from a fun weekend and say what I did. We took my mom to Prairie Home Companion with 82-year-old Garrison Keeler on Friday night. It was like random and fun. Sister's mom, you know, like compose that. But it probably could have been a reel or a story, but those like are just seem harder and I don't kind of understand that like it disappears after a day since again, like I'm a scrapbooker. So then if they're gone, then is it worth the time to post? So anyways, it's maybe more of my own anxiety around the socials.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna answer this like directly to you, but I'm gonna try. I think like, you know, when with stories, so the stories again, as a reminder, are the functions where you know, you post something and it's so fleeting and then after 24 hours it disappears. And for some folks, that's the draw of it. So Jessica, you might be like, why would I waste all that effort and then it goes away? But for some folks, it's like, oh my God, I can say anything in these 24 hours and then no one has a record of it, you know? So that's kind of like the enticing thing. That's oftentimes why I use my stories. Or sometimes like I'll use stories because I want to say a lot about a particular event that I'm at or something. And I'm like, dude, this is gonna be so boring as a post. No one's gonna be like reading my novel. So I'll put it in my stories and I'll be like, okay, here I am, hour 1, here I am, hour 2, here I am, how I feel about hour 3. And then, you know, you can just go evolve on if it's like event related. So oftentimes when you have like, because, you know, when on Instagram and Facebook, you're limited in posts, like you can do a maximum of like 10 pictures. If you really want to get deep into things, you can share a story. And also if you have things that might not be pretty or cool enough, or not, you know, just not as like, it's not post worthy, you might do it in a story. And in terms of reels, I think a lot of times the element of moving around like freaks people out, which I totally get. And then, you know, the idea of making a video is totally daunting. So we never have to do it, but it's also like very, very like a fun way to just work out a lot of like our self-image issues too. A lot of times we're nervous about seeing our face and talking into a camera, but we do it all the time. We do it for work, we're presenting, you know, we are very, very confident in certain spaces. So I think like a lot of times it's a good challenge to ourselves to try to do it on social media too. Just like, and we have a lot of ideas about like how things have to be perfect and very well produced, but oftentimes like, you know, you can just share a quick observation that's funny. You don't even have to do yourself. You could just do like, oh my God, look at this cute bird that I just saw. And like people need to see the bird moving and like splashing around. So yeah, I would just say like potentially just get your feet wet. And then, you know, these platforms really reward videos too. So you're having an awareness of that. That's why you're just kind of like, I think I feel like I should use videos, but I'm not like, I don't feel comfortable. Yeah, you know that they're popular.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
You're a super fun presenter.
Oh, thank you.
So.
I really needed that because, like, you know, I'm secretly very insecure.
It's awesome.
Okay.
Great content.
Okay, let's talk about Carrie's post. Okay, so I wanna open up the chat box to like, oh, Ariana asks, I'm with you, Jessica. Can you do both? Yeah, absolutely, you could do both. Yes. Okay, let's talk about Carrie's post. Carrie was sharing this with me last week. This is Carrie's like post that she posted on LinkedIn, and it ended up getting like 53 likes and like 3 comments, and it's of Dr. Dwayne. Dr. Dwayne Chappelle. He's not here right now. He left early,
He hopped
right?
off. We can talk
Yeah,
about it.
that's
He
what
left
he gets.
early.
Okay. Oh, great. Now we're gonna say nice things about him. That's what he gets. Okay. So Carrie did this AI photo of Dr. Dwayne on LinkedIn, and it's just like Carrie's sharing her work and she's having fun with it, but also she's like low key like talking about CYAB. And so this is like a great example of how to do a good post. So this is what Carrie wrote. Dr. Dwayne Chappelle took first prize for best photo at Tuesday's King County Children and Youth Advisory Board parentheses CYAB retreat. The board worked well into the evening on recommendation areas for the King County Youth Action Plan update. CYAB members served in an advisory and oversight capacity for the YAP, Best Starts for Kids, and the PASTA, the Puget Sound Taxpayer Accountability Account. The KC staff makes sure they have a little fun along the way. And then Carrie's friends were just like, this is awesome. This is awesome. Dwayne is iconic. Dang, now I want a superhero treatment. So happy to connect this weekend. You're in the right place at the right time. Okay, so let's take a little pause here. Let's talk about the 4 C's and how Carrie's post like kind of exemplified like different aspects of the 4 C's. Go ahead and just put it in the chat box. Like, why is this post so good? It's fun. Yeah, it is. Yeah, a lot of times like it's like, okay, so this is on LinkedIn, so it's not doesn't have to be super serious. Carrie's just having fun. It's creative. Yeah. Great photo. It is a great photo. The photo is so bright, vibrant, and eye-catching, and the content is clear. Yeah. Oh wait, I'm gonna wait for one more and then we'll move on. Fun and informative. She had a hook with the picture, but still shared what CYAB is all about. Yeah, she was real sly about that. Alrighty. Okay, so this is going to touch on some qualities of Carrie's photo. What qualities of good post? It told a well-rounded story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's not like a super plot heavy story, you know. It is just kind of like, check out this photo is the story. So that's is a great example of how it doesn't have to be a long story, but it just, you feel like you got the whole thing. You understood what it was about. You understood the purpose of this photo. You understood why Dr. Dwayne looked like that, right? So you basically, when you write a post, people need to not feel like they're missing something at the end. They need to not be confused. They're just like, okay, I totally get that, thank you. And Carrie had to lay down a lot of stuff, so she had to lay down a lot of context, right? You saw that she was name dropping, and then she explained it all the way because she knew that people don't know these acronyms. People don't necessarily know how these different entities are connected to each other. I need to spell it out, and I need to do it in a casual, fun way that feels very conversational. So she did that on purpose, and she did an amazing job of that. And so in terms of context sharing in your role as board members, you probably will have to subtly remind people, just like Carrie did, of your association with CYAB. You have to be like, every post, you have to be like, by the way, I'm a board member, or, you know, different ways of sharing that kind of stuff so that people are not like, Jessica, why are you talking about this again? People know it's like, oh, because Jessica's a board member. And then it's sometimes, but not always, you know, we mix it up. It's to give folks something to do at the end, right? To give a takeaway, a food for thought, or actually a call to action, like go to this link, like sign up for this, like watch this, right? Sometimes your direct call to action might be like, join our board, you know, when it's time to recruit board members, or maybe just be like, you know, just food for thought, or just kind of join us next time. And I say sometimes it's good to have like a call to action, not always, is because sometimes people get very, very exhausting and it feels formulaic if you're constantly asking people to do things. But it's good to kind of mix it up every now and then. How? Put that in there because people will respond well to it sometimes when they're directly asked to do something. Cool? Yeah. Okay. Oh, this kind of like touches on what Jessica brought up. Like, what if I don't want to show my face? You know what? It's important to show. Jerry said evergreen content. Yeah, that was evergreen content too. You can use that like every time. I think that's what you meant, Jerry. Okay. Okay. So if we're too shy, because I know, okay, so we all know that showing our faces on social media often gets us the most like engagement, you know, the most likes, the most like comments. People are like, oh my God, you look so cute. But sometimes we're very, very shy and I'm like, I don't want to be showing my face. Like, I don't feel very cute today. So while we work through that, you know, with our therapist, because, you know, and we get to the part where we are more comfortable showing our face while we work on it, there are ways to not show your face, is what I'm saying. So it's cool. While your face is very beautiful and compelling, here's some things that you can do that don't involve showing your face. You can reshare a really funny viral video that you'd like, or a meme, and then just write a little bit of commentary about it, you know, or write a cute joke, and then somehow tie it back to CYAB. You could reshare something more serious, like some thought leadership or a blog post, like from Best Starts or something written by someone else, and then also share your thoughts and reflections on it, right? And be like, hey, read this. This is what I thought. What do you think? You can also take a picture that is not of yourself and take a picture of like your environment, you know, such as a tablescape at an event, which I believe one of our board members has done, and that she got a lot of engagement and likes on that one. Carrie, who was that?
That was Miss Cindy.
Miss Cindy, yeah. So Cindy shared a picture, I think, of her table card, and she was at a CYAB, or she was at a vet in her capacity as a CYAB board member, and she just got a lot of like, oh my God, you look like you're having so much fun, you know. And then Cindy shared about like, you know, why she was there and all that kind of stuff. So you can also take a picture of your environment if you want to get away with not sharing a picture of yourself. Cool. Okay, is it time? It is time. Okay, it's time to compete. All right, so we have two photos. You could choose, because I didn't want to like pigeonhole you into just one photo. So you could choose either photo A or photo B. And then we're gonna split you up into little groupies where you collectively come up with like a really compelling caption and somehow tie this photo back to CYAB. So we have a photo of a man who is just super shocked, or maybe not, depending on how you tell the story, based on what he's seeing on his phone. And then you have a photo of an adorable kitten with a very soulful expression. Cool. Okay, so I believe Carrie is probably gonna put you in random breakout rooms, and then we're gonna give you an X amount of minutes. I'm not sure what the right amount, like maybe 5 minutes to kind of like come up with. No, Carrie's like, no. Carrie, maybe you know this better than I do. More than that? Less than that? Okay, Carrie will figure it out. And then when we're done, we'll kind of come back and we'll collectively share together, and then you're all gonna vote and decide who wrote the best caption. Okay. And then there will be a prize, and Carrie's going to give you your prize to the winners.
They know I never give out the prize.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
I'm notorious for not giving out the prize. They get called out. Your prize is your bragging rights. And no, seriously, for time, Stacey, how much are you going to be presenting after?
This is the end. After this is Q&A and wrap up.
Okay, so how much time do you think, folks? 10 minutes?
Okay.
Or less? What do you think? Ariana says 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm trying
Bye,
to put photo A and B in the chat though really quick.
Thank you.
I just saved them, but I don't know where I saved them. So hang on, I think I saved them in pictures. Hold on.
Let me see if I can do it.
Pictures or photos. I have them separate too. So yeah, I don't know what I did with them.
Okay, I think I might be able to do it. Okay. Can y'all see in the chat now? Cool. Hey, awesome. How was that? Was that great? Okay, cool. Okay, so how do we want to share out? Who wants to share out first? Name your group members and then share your awesome caption. And also let us know which picture you went with, cat or not cat.
Carrie, do you know who was in each group? Do you want to just call out groups?
No, I'm just gonna call out a person because I think I see Cindy smiling. So whatever
Ooh.
group Cindy was in needs to go first.
Okay,
Because she's
Cindy.
smiling. So I know she's up to something.
Oh, so I'm gonna have Gracie like talk about our caption, but the picture we picked was the pretty cat, a surprise cat. So Gracie, take it away with our caption.
Yeah, so what we said is, what? You went to the CYAB meeting without me? Good thing the Children and Youth Advisory Board meets every month.
Oh my God.
I
I love that.
I'll jump in for my group and go next because we did something similar but a little bit different. And ours actually was written so that we could use it for either picture if we wanted to. So it started with the quote, I was with Yedidia, with Anu, and with Councilmember Trouts and AJ. And so ours was in quotation, what? I missed the meeting? And then next was, don't worry, don't be a scaredy cat if you think you missed the CYAB Children and Youth Advisory Board meeting. The next meeting is insert date. And here's the link if you want to follow along in past board meetings.
Beautiful.
I'll go next. And my group, we chose the image of the guy, and I sort of interpreted it more as like excited face. So we were saying like exact face I made last week when the Children Youth Advisory Board, quotation CYAB, adopted the Youth Bill of Rights, and then sort of explaining what that is later on in the next paragraph and saying like the Youth Bill of Rights is blah, blah, blah. And the focus of CYAB is, as a board, aims to serve youth and community members. And if you're interested in both of these things, and then sort of like a link to either.
Awesome. Okay, last group.
Go for it, Jerry.
Jerry.
Jerry, are you muted or are you trying to unmute?
I was trying to unmute, sorry. Oh, we wanted to share it.
Oh my gosh.
Boom.
Dude.
Well done.
Right, more
Amazing.
information.
Okay, you got to read it though.
Oh, sorry. It says, oh, snap. New board members were just officially appointed to the King County Children and Youth Advisory Board. So excited to welcome 5 new members in the next month. For more information and to check out what we do, visit, and then it has a link to our page.
Jerry, you actually posted this? Oh my gosh.
Our group did it.
Someone wants to win real bad.
We dropped our hashtag, which said about damn time.
Yeah, I was running out of time to put all the hashtags, so I'll edit it in a minute. But
hey, Sean, it's not too late to kick you out. And besides, the board's hashtag is shaking shit up, but that's okay.
That's true.
Thanks,
Amazing.
Jerry.
Okay, how do we vote? Do we want to do thumbs up, Carrie?
Yeah, I think everybody should vote once on your favorite one. That sounds fair. And the first one was the kitty saying, what? It missed the Children's Advisory Board? Is that what they said? Okay, so for those people who think that one should win, thumbs up. Angela, yeah, Cindy, okay, Gracie, okay. How many thumbs did I see there? 3? Helena, I raised her hand, so I'm thinking that's 4.
That's right.
Okay. All right. All right. For the second one, similar, but applicable to both the kitty and the dude about missing the board. How many people think that one should win? Okay, I see 1, 2. 2. Okay, sorry, maybe I was having a cow in there. All right, for the third one, that was promoting, I think, the Youth Bill of Rights or the board's work. I don't remember. How many people think that one should win? It's 2 thumbs up from Jack. So 1, 2, Jackie 3, Jasmine 4, Eden 5, Lydia 6, Jessica 7. I was gonna vote on that one. Okay, but selfish reasons. All right, and the final one that is actually posted on the internet from the group that Jerry was in. How many people think that one should win? Thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there was 5. I think the third group with these Bill of Rights is the winner. Good job. That was fun. You got bragging rights. Bragging rights. Even though, Jerry, I don't know. I think your group should get an honorable mention because you actually posted. So.
Well, I think if you take it upon yourself to post your sample, I think, that's pretty bold. So, okay, Jerry.
We just won't have time later. You know, we're all going to bed after this. Like, get it done now.
Not.
You can post about your bragging rights.
Right?
There, y'all. That was amazing. Thank you so much. So we have a little bit of time for Q&A. I don't want to keep you all up because I know you have a little bit to do other stuff to do to wrap up. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them here and then I'll do my best to answer them real quickly. Yeah, but no pressure. I know we're tired. We have questions.
Stacy, I heard you say kind of, first, thank you. This was awesome. But I heard you say in so many words that to not worry about going viral.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually one of my, like, earlier I wrote down, is the goal to go viral?
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to me, that feels daunting. And so it
Yeah.
sounds like no. And so don't worry about that, just have fun. But if you
Yeah.
have anything to elaborate.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah, going viral, wanting to go viral is not necessarily is not like in the spirit of like wanting to build community, build relationships, like, and connect with people. Kind of going viral is about kind of like having a platform, having spotlight, and like kind of also gamifying the system, because it's extraordinary to go viral, and it's also very, very random. So if that's something you're chasing, you're kind of not in the like the good mindset of like how to connect and actually use social media in a way that is like centered around what the work that y'all are doing. So that's why I said don't go viral. It also just kind of stresses you out and just makes it really not fun. And it's also an impossible endeavor unless you're doing something crazy, which no we're not gonna, it's illegal. So like, whatever you're thinking, like, don't do it. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you so much for that. Also, Ariana, how do you pronounce your name? Ariana?
Ariana, like Ariana Grande.
Okay, Ariana Grande. Okay, thank you.
I'm thankful that she's around now because people can pronounce my name correctly.
Okay, so I think that's it, y'all. Okay, thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Jackie. Y'all can move on.
This is
Did it.
awesome. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank
you so much.
I had a lot of fun. There's great energy in this room. I loved it. Thank you so much for like just being so gracious and hospitable. So kind.
Well, I'm excited to see more social media posting, and I hope you all are too. So thanks, Stacy. I don't know if we'll see you again in the future, but we appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'll bounce. Right, Carrie? Yeah.
Yeah, sis. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Awesome. Well, thanks, community engagement, for bringing that to us. And it sounds like we'll get a little bit more training on do's and don'ts and that kind of stuff. Take the scariness away. So thank you, thank you. So Charmaine had to take off, so I'm just gonna leave the wrap up. Which oh, Jasmine, did you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick question. So I don't think I have anybody here like on, I only have Facebook, and I'm one of the people that is not comfortable with social media, but I was just wondering if like we all, not all, just the ones of us who wanted to add each other did, like if we did make social media posts and we could like each other's, it would be a little less daunting for those of us who are intimidated by social media.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you for saying that. All right. Moving on to board business, wrapping up. Just a little teaser, our December meeting is going to be in person, and we're trying to find a fun place to go and do something active. Last year we did bowling and arcade, and we want to find something like that where we can get together and just we'll do a little bit of business just so that we can say we did, and then get to having some fun, right, Carrie?
Sure. And we're trying to get some council members to come, but so far no luck. But
yeah,
we'll keep working on it.
Yeah. And we're hoping we're trying to get council members to come when we do in-person meetings. But we're also just trying to get them to come, period. So we're just know that we're working in the background to make that happen. And thank you, Jerry. And was it Jerry that helped yeah, that's helping us get a hold of Councilmember Perry. And if you know any council members, she can't make it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can invite
Well,
her to
eventually.
the virtual meeting next month if we want, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll get with Carrie and we'll figure it out.
You and Jack should gang up on her.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are both connected there.
So yeah, so more to come, but we're working on that. If anyone has any amazing ideas, please feel free to send them our way. Carrie, do we have an update on the Youth Bill of Rights?
So we've been meeting with council members. We've met with 4 council members, I think Mosqueda, Dembowski, oh my gosh, how come I can't remember? Verone and Perry's office. So we've met with 4. We have quite a few to go, but there's been some great questions from them, some conversations, a little bit of resistance in regards to the youth commission. So we're going to see how that goes. But we're just going to move forward, and just a lot of questions about how do we make it worth young people's while? What kind of authority will people have? And I told them that this board and myself will be going out and talking to youth commissions and councils around the county, King and Pierce, and asking them whatever the young leaders want to ask them. And so we've come with some recommendations, but we're going to come back with some stronger recommendations. So right now, I will tell you that most of the council members are excited about it. They won't probably be able to vote on it until January, just because we're in budget season and that really is their main focus. And if we force them to do it more quickly, they probably won't give it its due attention. So they all were like, we want to wait till January, February before we really look at it. But they're meeting with us now and asking great questions. We haven't heard from a couple council members' offices, so it might be time for me to call a couple of you who've signed up to be kind of leads in those districts. We haven't heard from 9 or 7 or 5, and obviously more than that, but 9, 7, and 5 come to mind off the top of my head. Anyways, so we're hoping that we'll hear from their offices soon asking for the same thing. We also haven't heard from 2. So those offices have not set up a time to learn more. So we might need to put some pressure on them. And I have mentioned to some of them, hey, you should come to the CYAB meeting since we've already invited you and you didn't. So anyways, I'm dropping hints when I can. But everything's good. It's at council now. It's been assigned to a committee, and it might be reassigned to a different committee, just depending on what the council members feel.
Thank you. And then we kind of talked about it a couple times, but do you have anything more to say about the membership update?
Yeah. So the membership thing happened after the agenda was created. I got that phone call late and was told that things would be transmitted on Monday. They were, which means they were transmitted from the executive's office to the clerk. The clerk posted it, and that means that as of yesterday, the people have been waiting forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Only one, which is here tonight, Sean, because it literally was last minute, are now on their 30 days, and they should be able to vote, not next meeting because I think it falls within 30 days, but they'll be able to vote in December. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It took forever, and I think they're pretty awesome for hanging in there as much as they did. Each of them have attended a board meeting between now and then and just kind of hung out and listened and learned. So more to come on that. But Sean, so good to have you.
Yes, thank you. Awesome news. Okay. I think that's all we have, unless there's anything else for the good of the order. So nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and adjourn at 8:16 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Try.